978305.
A hotline for whistleblowers to report cases of poor project execution within their localities has been launched in Delta State. The State Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, Mr. Charles Sanyago, while briefing journalists in Asaba, gave the hotlines as 0916 997 8305, emphasizing that it was for SMS and WhatsApp messages only to allow for pictorial and video evidence of the reported poorly executed projects. Mr. Anyago gave an assurance that the identities of whistleblowers would be protected and commended those who had already called to give information, revealing that in less than 24 hours of the number being made available to the public, calls had come in from various parts of the state.
It's already functional. Our whistleblower line is a line that is designed for people to reach out to us. Our people in Delta, we want them to be able to interact with government. If any project in your community is going on and you feel that either the contractor or the supervising ministry is performing below what you see or believe it should be the standard, our whistleblower line is for you to be able to reach out to us. Text messages, WhatsApp messages to encourage pictures and videos if possible. But please note that this line is not for love messages. It is for serious business. We are using it to ensure that our people who are living in their respective communities participate in our governance process, so that it is not only the ministry, it is not only the officials of government that will be able to talk to us or talk to the governor with respect to projects that are within your communities. In less than 24 hours of even making this line public, we have already received reports about some projects that are being handled far below what the standard should be. And we are also going to take action against such contractors and also against officials of government who have failed to execute their responsibilities. We are taking it very, very serious because our governor, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Francis Robert Oguluri, believes that value for money is not something that we are going to joke with. That we told you we are solvent does not mean that we are going to spend the money as if it doesn't have value. So any contractor, irrespective of relationship with those of us that are privileged to be in position of authority, even if you have the same surname with the governor says the only way he will recognize you is that you are able to give Delta State value for money. And so anybody who believes that he has been around and that nothing will happen, we are putting out the message to them that if they do the wrong thing, something will happen. And for us to ensure that something happens, we will need the information because we cannot bilocate, in which case we cannot be in two places at the same time. But for those places where we will not be opportune to be at a particular time, we believe that Deltans are in those places. And that through this whistleblower line, they should be able to reach us for us to know those who are trying to shortchange us and take advantage of our commonwealth. It's a very serious business. Today, it can be regarded as the hottest line in Delta. And actions will be taken. The identity of the whistleblower will be preserved and protected. It is meant to expose those who want to shortchange us, be they people in government, albeit supervisory agencies of government or ministries or departments, or the contractors who ordinarily are supposed to be our partners. If you feel that the amount that a contract is possibly meant to take in terms of how much you should be paid is not enough, write back to us and we'll re-examine it if you are saying the truth or you are trying to cut corners. But to say that for any reason you are performing below what the standard should be, the administration of Elder Sheriff Oborowori will not take it, no matter who is involved. So we needed to give you these numbers and to let you know that the number is even already yielding dividends, which shows that the governor's decision to establish and entrench this policy is a right decision that the governor has taken. It's another promise made and another promise kept. That is one. The second one is to let you understand why we took the bold step at last week's ESCO to approve projects that are worth over 275 billion naira. You recall when I had the privilege, alongside my colleague in the Ministry of Finance, Okemo Fidelis Tilije, to brief you on the state of our finances. We were very, very clear on the fact that we are very, very solid and solvent. And I also want to remind you, when I said in one of our interactions in the past, that Oborowori will continue to respond to critics with projects. In that last ESCO, Oborowori's response was not only clear, but was also resounding, even as it was deafening. And so, we took that decision because we believe that we have the mandate of our people to deliver in line with the more agenda of the administration. The governor was very clear on the need for us to take those steps, ensure that the 3 senatorial districts are covered, and to ensure that the number of sectors are also covered. And for the first time in the history of any government in the entire federation, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Oborowori, the governor of Delta State, made it possible for us to have a 40% advance payment for all projects that were awarded in that ESCO. You can fact check me. It has never happened in any government in this country. 40% is not what you may call my. And for a state government to have projects in excess of 270 billion naira, and we are ready by the time the contractors proceed and mobilize to sites, that any certificate that is triggered on account of milestones, that our administration is still very solid enough to defray whatever that may have come up on account of jobs done in the course of these contracts that we're talking about. What that tells you is that we are not only solid, but we are doing very well thanks to the prudent and transparent policies of our governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborowori. And all these things happening, we want to emphasize, without us approaching anybody in form of borrowing. Even as we have been very busy trying to also defray existing liabilities. So for those of us who may have underrated Oborowori prior to 2023, his actions have become very loud to let such persons know that this kind of book must be properly examined before you judge the book. Otherwise, you'll be looking at the wrong cover. And I believe many people looked at the wrong cover prior to that election. Oborowori is doing this and at the same time saving funds for the state. Prior to that ESCO, over 4.5 billion naira was saved from different contracts because we looked at the profit margin and the amount that such contracts will get to. Just like they talk about in economics, about principles of economies of scale. We said if we are paying you 10 naira and we are paying another person 100 naira, we can afford to reduce the profit margin for the person we are paying 100 naira because he's still going to make more money than the person we are paying 10 naira. And re-examining the profit margin and ancillary parameters in those projections, the governor was able to lead us to save as much as over 4.5 billion naira for the state. And that has become one of the hallmarks of the Oborowori administration. Now, another phase that we are entering, starting from next week, the governor have directed that I should, on regular basis, proceed with those of you who are partners here to inspect and take status reports on all projects irrespective of ministry. Whether it is the Ministry of Works, whether it's in health, whether it's in education, whether it's in housing, whether it's in agriculture, we will proceed with you. Not only because we want to show to the world, but because we want to, working with the supervising ministries, emphasize the need, yet again, for value, for money that we are spending on these projects. You already know that the governor himself is leading a high-powered committee that are inspecting projects across the states. That committee is still a standing committee. Whenever the governor is not chanced, the deputy governor leads that committee. So that anybody, including those of us who are his lieutenants, who fails to stand up and do the right thing, the action of that committee will reveal whether indeed you are worthy of remaining in this school where the governor is emphasizing quality, efficiency, and effectiveness. So I needed to inform you so that through you, Deltans will know the approach and the Oborowori philosophy that is already yielding dividends, and to let them know that they are protected even as we invite them to continue to join us in this governance process that is quite positively revolutionary.
The commissioner was flanked by the Chief Press Secretary to the Delta State Governor, Sir Festus Ahon, and the Executive Assistant to the Governor on Public Enlightenment, Mr. Olise Ifejika.